Welcome to Life's Hidden Curriculum, a podcast designed for Philadelphia teens and young adults that helps connect them to resources and information needed for adulthood. My name is Quan King, and I'm your host and curator of this content intended to get you the info and understanding necessary to make informed and smart decisions. You can find even more information on the website, lifeshiddencurriculum.com. And now, today's episode. I want to take a moment really quick and let you know that the content you're about to hear has been generated by Andrew and Izzy, AI. As such, it's always important to make sure you verify information that you get from any source, no matter how legit it sounds. I've listed all my resources and references in the archive on the website at lifeshiddencurriculum.com, so you can do your own due diligence, aka research. If you like any of these topics and want me to go into greater detail, hit me up in the comment section or send a message on the website using the contact link. All good? All right, here we go.
All right, today we're doing a deep dive into youth substance use, and we're really focusing on the data coming out of Philadelphia, because our sources are showing this huge contrast between the national trends and the hyper-lethal reality on the ground in one city. Yeah. So our mission here is to figure out what those lethal drivers are and what's really fueling the crisis.
So to set the stage nationally, the 18 to 25 age group is still the highest risk. The numbers we have from 2024 show 38.1% of young adults reported past year illicit drug use.
And vaping is up there too, right?
It is. 23.7% reported nicotine vaping in the past month. But what's really interesting is the protective effect of, just having structure.
How so?
Well, after cannabis was legalized in many places, young adults who weren't in college saw much bigger increases in use compared to their peers who were old.
That makes sense. Environments matter. But that brings us to what our sources are calling the Philadelphia paradox.
Right.
Because local youth there are actually showing a decline in prescription opioid misuse, which you'd think is great news.
It should be.
But at the very same time, the city is just getting slammed by one of the worst illicit opioid crises in the country. The danger has completely shifted.
It really has. The risk for any young person experimenting, even once, has gone up exponentially because the entire drug ecology has changed.
You mean the contamination?
Exactly. By 2023, fentanyl was involved in 79% of all overdose deaths. I mean, think about that. It means even if you think you're trying a stimulant, there's a huge risk of lethal exposure.
And it's not even stopping at fentanyl anymore. The sources detail this incredibly fast displacement of xylazine, tranq, by something even stronger.
Metamidine. They're calling it rhino tranq.
And the numbers are just shocking. January of 2025, it was in 87% of local drug samples.
It's an extreme escalation. Clinically, metamidine is estimated to be, 200 times more potent than xylazine?
Yeah.
And crucially, the withdrawal often requires advanced critical care.
Yeah.
So your standard community detox center, it's just not enough.
They can't handle it.
So the takeaway is that any experimentation in Philadelphia now carries this fatality risk that just didn't exist a few years ago.
So that shifts the whole conversation, doesn't it? Away from the drug itself and toward the environment. What kind of trauma is pushing young people into this orbit in the first place?
Well, you have to look at the local data on adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs, and the findings are pretty devastating.
Yeah.
Nearly half, 47.6% of Philly youth surveyed, reported the death of a close friend or family member in the past year. That's way higher than the state average.
And that's on top of economic instability.
Exactly. Over 31% were worried about their family running out of food.
So if you look at a place like Kensington and you see young people involved in drug offenses, how do you frame that? Is it purely a substance use issue, or is it economic survival?
The sources argue they're completely intertwined. For many, it starts as economic necessity, and then the substance use disorder gets layered on top.
Which means policy has to change.
It has to. You need to provide economic supports, housing, jobs, real off-ramps before the behavioral therapy can even begin to stick.
And we've seen models that work, right?
You have. School-based mental health programs are a great example. Youth in those programs are 6 times more likely to actually complete treatment compared to going to a community clinic.
So the big takeaway here seems to be that the best prevention programs need to fund the non-clinical stuff first. Housing, jobs, stabilize the environment before you can treat the behavior.
Right. And this leaves a really provocative question for you, the listener, to think about. We've just seen medetomidine appear and absolutely dominate the supply in a few short months.
That speed is terrifying.
It is. So the question is, how can public health systems possibly adapt their education fast enough before the next, maybe even deadlier adulterant shows up?
Thanks for listening to another episode on Life's Hidden Curriculum podcast. Please don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube as we're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. If you like this content and want to support, head over to the website, lifeshiddencurriculum.com, and click donate. Also, I'm always looking for guests to share their stories, especially if it can help the next generation. Hit me up using the contact link. Thanks again, and stay tuned for more.